Hello, hello, good morning. Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. On what is match day? It is Scottish Cup. It is Fraserburgh at home. Something we're obviously not going to say. I'm not going to say again this season. Probably won't say again for. I don't know. Might not say again in my lifetime. It's crazy to think that, isn't it? We might actually not play them again in my lifetime. Well, we're going to build up to today's game. Obviously, we've also got news as well about Ianis Hagi. We're going to discuss his contract and the news that came out yesterday from Philippe Clermont as regards Ianis Hagi's contract, possible renewal of where we're up to with that. We're going to look at that. Obviously, all the news around the club. So it's not just focused on today's game. Well, we will start with that. Rangers go head to head with Fraserburgh today. And I think, look, for Fraserburgh today, it's their cup final. It's their big day out, isn't it? Coming to Ibrox is massive for them. It's going to be huge for them. I mean, if you're one of the Scottish clubs down in those lower leagues, in the Highland League or the Lowland Leagues, and you draw one of the old firm and you get to go to their stadium, of course it's going to be your big day out. Of course it's your Wembley. Of course it's your Hampden Park. Of course it's your Santiago Bernabeu. It's your big day out, isn't it? For many of these players, they in their careers they won't get this opportunity again to go to a major world stadium like Ibrox and face a team like Rangers. So it's huge. It is huge for them. Look, Rangers realistically should be able to put out any sort of lineup and beat them today. It shouldn't be a case for concern. It shouldn't be a case of thinking, well, we've got to put out our strongest possible 11 just in case. I don't think that's the case. The B team, I think, was it last year or the year before, I can't remember, was beat them 5-0. They're not a fantastic team. They just are. And yes, they will be bang up for it. Yes, they will be full of energy and effort. Of course they will, because it's Rangers. It's a cup tie, And even remembering back to that Partick Thistle game a few years ago, and Bill was the manager. Malik Tillman was, I think it was 3-2 or 4-2 or 4-3. I can't remember what the score was now off the top of my head. But it was a very tight game, and they came and had a right go at us. And you know what? Fraserburgh tomorrow might come and have a go. They might not want to low block and spoil and foul like, the likes of Dundee United and Kilmarnock and Ross County do when they come to Ibrox. They might actually want to come and have a go, because you know what? They're only going to be here once and they might as well go out fighting. You never know what could happen. Who knows? And I think for Rangers today, one of the big things for me is going to be, the worry about complacency. I think that is always the concern when you go into these games as the favourite, as the Premiership team, whether it's in Scotland or in England, and you're going against a lower league team, a non-league team, whatever you want to call them. There's always that expectation, isn't there, that you will smash them, that it will be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think the expectation today very much is that Rangers will go out there and run up a cricket score. That's the expectation. And if Rangers don't, obviously people will be very unhappy. And that lot across the city will poke fun at us, as they always do. Who cares? But, that's where we're at with this. And I think, the players have got to be very professional. They've got to be very focused, very switched on, just as they would be if they were playing, Aberdeen at home today, Dundee United at home today, Celtic at home today, just as switched on as that. They've got to be focused. They've got to be ready for the off, no matter who is selected. And we'll touch on that in a moment. I mean, if you look at the position in the Highland League, where they currently stand, I mean, Fraserburgh are 9th in the Highland League. They sit 9th, just above Devon Vale and below the brilliantly named Bucky Thistle. They've played 19 games this season. They've won 7, drawn 9 and lost only 3 times, but find themselves obviously down the league a little bit due to those draws, and obviously the fact they've played 1, 2 and maybe even 3 games less than some of the teams around them. Above them, Bucky Thistle, Huntly, Inverurie Locos, which is a brilliant name. Foreman, I don't know what the rest of that name is, Clathnacullen, which I think is a fabulous name, Banks of the Dee, Brechin and Brora Rangers. I've got to say, Scotland has some of the greatest names of football teams in the world. I mean, it really does knock the likes of Preston North End, Leeds United, Sunderland, West Bromwich Albion, Wolverhampton Wanderers into a cocked hat. It really does. Some of those names, Clathnacullen, Inverurie Locos, Bucky Thistle, Devon. Bucky Thistle sounds like somebody from a 1980s kids cartoon, doesn't he? I mean, it just does. I mean, just amazing names. Fabulous names. Love it, I've got to say. And obviously my personal favourite, as I said on the podcast last night, Stenhouse Muir. I've say I've always loved that name. Last couple of games they've played, they won their last game. They won their last game 3-2 against the amazingly named Clathnacullen. I presume that's how you say it, guys. Apologies if my Anglo-Saxon accent ruins that for you. Before that was a 1-1 at Brechin. So, they're unbeaten their last couple of games, not bad. They're doing okay. But, still, it really shouldn't be a worry today. It really should not be a threat. And I know their managers called on them to kind of come out there and really give a good account of themselves and play with no fear. And I'll be honest with you, realistically, they've got nothing to worry about. Yes, they might be a bit nervous running out of the Ibrox. Of course you're going to be. And I don't think the crowd's going to be great today, if I'm being honest with you. But at the end of the day, yeah, there's a little bit more perhaps riding on it for them. But look, realistically, they've got nothing to lose. Everyone expects them to get smashed. They might as well go out there and enjoy themselves and see how it goes. As for Rangers, I really hope that we see a little bit of something different today. And I don't realistically want to see the same old names out there and the same old players. And I think there's certain players that don't need to be anywhere near the team today. The likes of Nicholas Raskin, Ianis Hagi, I think both have and get a well-deserved rest. Yes, you can have them on the bench, certainly, but I don't think we need to see them unless things are going very, very badly, in which case chuck them on because you can't have the embarrassment of losing to a Highland League team. But, certainly you don't need to be seeing them. There's certain players I really do want to see today. And I hope that Phil Clement shows some bravery in his selection and shows some, just some variance in his selection. And, way back, all those months and nearly over a year ago now, when he came into the club, he talked about giving youth a chance. Today is the opportunity to do that. Look, I'm not saying we go out there and we play the B team or we play with 11 youngsters. We play Mason Munn and Leighton Grant and Paul Uncio, Archie Stevens, Finley Curtis, Zach Lovelace, Bailey Rice. We bring all these kids. I'm not Josh Gentles. I'm not saying we do that for a minute, okay, before anyone says Burnside, etc., etc. We're not going to go that way. But I hope that he sprinkles in youth into the starting 11, not just on the bench, don't go boring. Don't go with, all just older players on the field and start with that. And then maybe with 20 minutes to go, 30 minutes to go, if you're lucky, you might see some of these young, talented players. I think for me personally, you want to see some of those youngsters go out there and start the game and have a go. Now, one player I would love to see today is young Finley Curtis. Now, Finley Curtis has been getting rave reviews in the B team, rave reviews in the under-21s, 18 years old, absolute top quality talent, can play out wide. I mean, personally speaking, I would honestly play Finley Curtis in the A team in some of the league games as well, against the likes of St Johnstone and against Hearts and Dundee United and Dundee and some of the lesser teams in Scotland. I really would, because I'm telling you something. He may be 18 and untested, but I bet you he's better than Matondo. I bet you he would give a better account out wide and stay out wide than Bayrami. I bet he'd still run his heart out. And I'll tell you something else. The league's done. The league's gone. It's done. It's dusted. Celtic, congratulations. You've won the league. I hate saying that. I think I'm going to throw up. But at the end of the day, the league is gone this year. It's not going to turn around. We're not going to catch them. We're not going to overtake them. And they're not a good team. But they're still not going to lose 4 or 5 games to give us the league title. It's just not going to happen, right? Okay. So why not put 3 or 4 youngsters in there every sort of week and give them a run out? Because I'll tell you something. They can't do any worse than some of the older players that have just been shite, full stop. The likes of Dow, the likes of Dessers, who should be nowhere near that first team now anymore. So yeah, Finley Curtis, I'd love to see Finley get some minutes today and actually start the game today and give him 60, 70, 80, give him the full 90. What does it hurt? What does it hurt? I mean, in terms of the team I'd like to see, and I don't think for a minute this is going to happen. This is what I would love to see today. I think, I'd love to see Mason Munn go in goal. I mean, look, Jack Butland is back, but, well, allegedly back. I don't know how far back he is. I mean, they did talk about whether he trained today. I don't know whether he has trained today or yesterday. So I think, for me, Mason Munn, give him a go in goal. Let's see what we've got. I mean, Liam Kelly probably going to have to start the Dundee United game, as I don't think Butland will be fully fit and ready to go for that game. So give Mason Munn a bit of a run out. I mean, the lad looked class. When I watched him in that cup final, we did the live stream, didn't we, of the cup final last year? He was a class act. He looks absolutely brilliant. And he's a goalkeeper that's been looked at by the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Manchester United. So he is a good goalkeeper. Back 4, I think this is where you're pulling a little bit of experience here. James Tavernier. Look, Tav is past it. We know that. Tav is pretty much done when it comes to first team football, in my humble opinion. But I think, this is a game where it's, and I'm sorry, I'm not saying this with any sort of arrogance or entitlement FC or any of this. It's only Fraserburgh. Give him some minutes, get him back into the first team, get him some first team minutes, get him some confidence into him. Because, look, with the situation we have at this moment in time, with the number of injuries we've got, with the fact that Dujon Sterling cannot stay fit to save his life, we are unfortunately going to need to have for the rest of the season to play it right back, because realistically there is no one else. Ridvan's a left back. Yes, he can play there. Leon King can to some extent, but the manager's proven that he's not really willing to play Leon King. Yes, he can play Ridvan, but I think ideally he doesn't want to play him there. So look, Tav does need to get some minutes to get his fitness back. I would go with King and Nsiala in central defence, because Proper, I think, he's not fit, 100% fit. Yes, the manager says, he was 50-50 touch and go, but still, the Dundee United game next Sunday is far more important. Rafael Fernandez won't have cleared international clearance yet, so he won't be able to play. And Leon Balogun, I just think you don't risk Leon Balogun. We saw, didn't we? When he had to play the 3 games in a week, we don't risk Leon Balogun. We need Leon Balogun on Thursday, and we're probably going to need him on Sunday as well. So to some degree, we don't risk Leon Balogun. So he sits on the bench for me, and King and Nsiala get the start. And Nsiala was fantastic, against Aberdeen, absolutely brilliant. So, for me, Nsiala gets the start anyway, just on merit. Ridvan at left back, I think give Jefte a rest, put him on the bench certainly, but start Ridvan at left back. Midfield 3, Conor Barron, I think, comes back in. I don't need to see Nico Raskin today. Bayrami in at the 10 role, try and get Bayrami some confidence. I think he's lacking a bit of confidence. He's just lacking something. And I think give him the freedom today, which you'll get playing against Fraserburgh. Maybe you'll get some of that confidence back, and we'll start to see the swagger and the real Nadim Bayrami. Bailey Rice, look, for me, Bailey Rice has to start today. If Bailey Rice is not on that starting sheet when it comes out today, then Bailey Rice needs to go and see the manager and say, I want to leave, because if he can't get a game against Fraserburgh and he can't start against Fraserburgh, he ain't ever going to get a go. And clearly Clement's got something against him, which I think is ridiculous, considering this lad, I think, has the potential to be as good, if not better, than Lennon Miller. We heard that when he was coming through the youth system at Motherwell. And when he played against Livy a couple of seasons back, he actually looked class. So for me, Bailey Rice has got to start. Like I said, if he doesn't start, then you've got to start to ask questions. What's wrong with him? What doesn't the manager like about him? What is it about Bailey Rice that's holding him back? And I think the other thing about Rice is he's a 6, and we need a backup 6 for Raskin. He could be the perfect player to back up Raskin and learn from Raskin. Stick him in alongside Raskin, get him to learn from him. Raskin eventually is not going to be here. He's going to move for big money. And then he moves on, and Bailey Rice steps up. He's still a young lad. He steps up. He replaces him. He is the heir apparent. McCausland starts on the right for me. There's no reason to put Cherney out there. Give Cherney a rest. Finley Curtis, as I've already spoke about, want to see him start. And Zach Lovelace, I want to see Zach Lovelace get a run out. I don't want to see Hamza, because he needs it. Just don't risk him. We need him for the Man United game, and we need him for the Dundee United game. Don't need to see him. Don't want to see him. Unless we go 1-0 down and with 20 minutes to go and we're still struggling, then stick him on. And I don't want to see Cyril Dessers. Yes, Cyril Dessers probably scores 2-3 goals, but it's Fraserburgh. Give Zach Lovelace a run out. What have you got to lose? What have you got to learn? A whole hell of a lot. Can this player play up front? Can he do that job? Can he be a long-term replacement for Danilo, who is getting injured an awful lot? Let's see Zach Lovelace. Let's see what he's got. This lad started championship games when he was 15 years old. This lad, has a lot of talent and a lot of promise. Cyril Dessers isn't going to get any better. He's going to get worse. He's 30 years old. Its only way is down from here. Lovelace is still in his 20s. The only way is up. So for me, Lovelace has got to start. He won't. He'll start shitty Dessers. But unfortunately, look, at the end of the day, I would love to see Lovelace get a run out. That's my feelings anyway. Predictions, I'm going to go 5-0, no matter what he selects, because it's Fraserburgh. Right, guys. Let's move it on a little bit. Let's talk a little bit of one of my favourite players. No, not Big Leon. We're not going on a Big Leon love fest before anyone says it. We're going to go Ianis Hagi. Right, so Ianis Hagi. Right, look, Ianis, for me, deserves respect. He really does deserve respect. At the start of the season, he was out of the picture. We were told that, that he's done, he's dusted, he's going to end up to leave the club. At one point, they were talking about ripping his contract up, but all that time, he displayed a fabulous attitude. Did he cry? Did he spit his dummy out? Did he stomp his feet? Did he post shit on Instagram saying how unhappy he was? No, of course he didn't. He got his head down. He worked hard. He played B team games. He trained with the B team. He did everything right. He was the true professional. And I think something else that's really come through about Ianis over the last sort of few weeks, months for me, since he's come back into the team, is how much he actually likes being here, how much he actually loves the club. And I think there's a genuine love between him and the club. I think he genuinely loves being here. He genuinely loves pulling on that shirt. He genuinely loves playing for the club. Now, add to that, of course, as well, the fact that, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and you may fundamentally disagree with this, Ianis Hagi has actually, I think, changed Rangers for the better. I actually think Rangers have been a better team since Ianis Hagi has come back into the team. I think he provides a lot to this team. You know, he varies the points of attack. He speeds play up. He slows play down. His passing range is absolutely fabulous. I mean, he has an absolutely phenomenal passing range. And I think people talk about, you know, the fact that he hasn't got the numbers yet. He hasn't got the stats numbers. But if you actually watch him play and look at the eye test rather than the stats test, some of the balls he plays through for the players that then go on to miss the chances because we're not clinical enough are absolutely fantastic. His vision for a pass and the fact that he can play as a 10, he's played out wide, he's willing to play wherever the manager wants him. He's not going to sulk if he's put on the left wing or put on the right wing and stomp around and not want to do then and having to get hooked after 20 minutes, half an hour against some team in the Europa League, naming no names. He will carry on playing and carry on working hard and trying and putting the effort in and giving 110% for the shirt. So for me, Ianis, you know, has really come in and not just changed the team a little bit and made the team better, but he's also, for me, showing himself to be one of the best players we've got on the squad. Now, the manager revealed that under the terms of his contract, because they've obviously done something going back to his old contract, whatever, because of that agreement to waive that £6,000 pay rise, allegedly. He's out of contract at the end of the season. So that means basically, as of now, he can start to talk to other clubs. He can walk for free in the summer if we don't get a new contract down. I personally believe that we should be looking to tie him down to 2, 3, maybe 4 years. That's how good this lad is. He is quality. And the other benefit you've got to kind of take from this is the fact that he's come back into the team. He's working hard. He's proving himself. If he continues to do that, and we've got him under, say, a 4-year deal, let's say in 2 years' time or 18 months' time, another club across, in the continent or in England looks at him and goes, he's actually quite good. I like him. He's under contract. We're going to have to pay 7, 8, 9, 10 million for him to get him out of Rangers. You generate income. Whereas if you let him walk for nothing at the end of this season, it's a lot of money gone. It's a lot of money gone. And I think what we've got to realise is, I think the Turkish clubs would bite our hands off for him. So even in 12 months' time, 18 months' time, whenever, if he's not performing as well as he, perhaps he has been, you can still get 6 million, 5, 6 million out of one of the Turkish clubs for him because he carries that status, brand Hagi, isn't it? Now the manager, it appears, is keen to give him a new contract. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm kind of interpreting from what I'm hearing Philippe Clement saying. No, I don't talk to Philippe Clement. I'm not lucky enough to sit down with a manager. I can guarantee I would give him a harder time than a lot of the other, than the journos give him at the press conferences. But, he's happy with the way Ianis is playing. He's been full of praise for him. He's happier to have him here than somewhere else. And it seems there's been a real kind of change of attitude, change of view from Philippe Clement towards Ianis Hagi, which is very positive. Now, the manager's been speaking about this contract situation. This is what he had to say. He said he will be at the end of his contract at the end of the season, so there will be negotiations around that if it is possible or not. I don't have a clue what numbers Ianis has in mind or the club, so that's for discussions between them. So this is what he said. This was when he was asked about the whole Hagi situation. So it looks like that that negotiations are ongoing, and there'll be further negotiations obviously at the end of the season to try and secure a deal for Hagi. I think, to be honest with you, there is a desire clearly from the manager and I think from the player to remain at the club. So that's positive. There seems to be a positive meeting point there. Now, where there could be that disagreement, where there could be those issues, is around wages. So obviously Hagi, had to agree to that £6,000 effective £6,000 wage cut, allegedly, this season. But, we don't know what Hagi's kind of looking for. We don't know, if he's looking for a parity of his existing wages, whether the club are looking to cut his wages because they're obviously going on a wage cutting spree, or whether, he's looking for a wage increase. Now, I think the chances of him getting a wage increase are very slim indeed, but the club being the way it is, the fact that it seems to be tightening its belt, it doesn't want to be spending shed tons of money on players. Also, I think, as well, he's not going to take a cut in wages. Who would take a cut in wages? Especially, as he probably knows that if he went to Gala or Besiktas or he went, somewhere like that, he's probably going to get the same, if not a bit more money than he's on now at Rangers. So, look, I think a wage cut is just not going to happen. So it's whether it's a match or slightly more that Rangers are prepared to offer him to keep him in place. And it's how badly they actually want him to stay. Now, for me, personally speaking, I honestly believe that if we are after being successful, if we are after rebuilding this team, if we are after, having players who can really influence the game, then we need to be looking at renewing Hagi and giving him, either the same or a little bit, not massive bit, more than what he's on now to keep him in at the club. Sometimes there's a saying, isn't it? You've got to speculate to accumulate. And I think, if you want to get Champions League football, if you want to win titles in Scotland, then you need quality players like Ianis Hagi. You really do. And this lad has certainly proved himself on a number of occasions, certainly since coming back from injury. And the other thing he's seeing, I think, as well, is as he plays more, as he gets sharper, as he gets his match fitness back, as he gets back to the Ianis Hagi that we remember, perhaps from the 55 season, we're going to get a lot of reward for that. Now, look, Hagi, I think you've got to remember, came back from that horrible ACL injury. It takes a long while to get back from the ACL injury. Then they reckon it takes you about 12 to 18 months to actually properly overcome the ACL injury and get back into playing properly. That's what that's what a lot of the American sportsmen say who have it. A lot of the NFL sportsmen who have ACL injuries where it's quite common. So look, he's getting around that point now where he's building his confidence, he's rebuilding his abilities. He's looking like a top player. And I honestly think it's a no-brainer that you give him a new contract. It really irritates me when we allow players to walk for nothing. And we already could lose Lowry and Devine and Lawrence, and now, we could lose him, and I think there's a couple of others who are out of contract. If we're losing 4, 5, 6 players again, it's just really bad business from the club, really bad business, and it needs to be corrected. It needs to be put right because it can't go on like that. And that's why we're not making money. That's why we're not able to compete financially with Celtic. That's why we're losing money, because we're not getting the contracts right. And someone needs to get these contracts right, from now on, so this doesn't continue to happen. And as I've said on a previous video, 18 months to 24 months down the line, when you've got a player on those last 2 years to 18 months of his deal, you go to him and you say, right, this is your new deal, sign it, or sorry, we don't want you anymore, we're going to sell you. Because that's how you get the most money for them. Or that's how you secure them on a long-term deal. You don't wait to the last 6 to 12 months to go, oh, shit, we haven't done nothing. We better start doing it now. Because that's not when good contracts get drawn up. That's when rush contracts happen. That's when people get overpaid or you lose someone for nothing in those summer months. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Personally, let's keep Ianis Hagi. I'd love to see him stay. I love Ianis Hagi, top player. Let's keep him at the club long-term. I think it was interesting today with the signing yesterday, of Rafael Fernandez. That one seemed to come out of left field. It suddenly just seemed to be linked. And then suddenly from nowhere, he signs and you get the pictures and you get everything going on with him. So for me, like I said, it was a shock for me. I mean, I kind of read it a little bit in the newspapers before it happened. And then I was at work yesterday and it came out that he'd signed. I was gutted that I wasn't at home to make you a video. But look, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Promising young player. Could be a good signing. Who knows? The guy hasn't played first team football in a long time, so we don't actually know. So, he could be great. He could be awful. No one knows. But we welcome him to the club. We wish him all the best. And just to correct again what some of you seem to think I said yesterday, I didn't say this was a bad signing. I didn't write him off. I didn't say this was a ridiculous waste of money. We're not actually spending money. All I said was, I would have liked a hit the ground running player and a bit of experience in this January transfer window. And this was perhaps a better move for the summer, but all the same, no, something is better than nothing. And hopefully he will hit the ground running and prove us all that he can be a very good footballer. That's what I want to say. That's what I think. Okay. So please don't misquote me. Please make sure you listen to what I'm saying and don't just kind of look at it and go, oh, Owen says this. Because I think that happens sometimes, I don't know it does, because I'll tell you something. I read some of the comments, and I just think you haven't actually watched the video, or you haven't watched the whole video. You've listened to a bit of it, and you've gone, outrage, 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 and then you've flown off the handle. Look, that is just, you need to obviously, that's what I mean about listening to the whole video. Right, guys, look, we are back. Going to be back this evening. We've got the final word, so please come and join us for that. That's live. Your chance to get your thoughts and opinions in on this afternoon's game against Fraserburgh. Also, we're going to look back across the week at the Aberdeen game and what's gone on this week at the club, and have a little look ahead to what is upcoming this week for Rangers. Just a little hint at what's coming up for the channel. We've got 2 watch-alongs next week. I can't do the Fraserburgh game today because I'm at work, unfortunately. Bloody work until this channel goes full-time, and that's down to you. Guys, that's what's going to happen. So look, so we've got the Manchester United game live watch along on Thursday. So come and join us for that 8 o'clock kickoff. I think I'm starting the show about 7:30, and then on the following Sunday we are going to be obviously bringing you the Dundee United game as a live watch along as well. So I'd be loving if you come along and join me for that. That'd be phenomenal to have you. I love having your comments, reading your comments, and you getting involved whilst watching the game. Keeps it all interesting, guys. Because let's face it, sometimes it is a tough watch. What else have we got, guys? Please remember as well, you can become a member, 99p for a membership. Well worth it, guys. Less than a cup of McDonald's coffee or any other coffees which are available. Definitely less than Costa and Starbucks, for example. And if you want to, help to support the channel, there's a super thanks button up below the video. Press that, donate a bit of cash. It helps the channel run. It helps me run the channel. Takes the financial pressure off a little bit, and obviously helps the channel to succeed. At the end of the day, we know the aim for this channel. I want to get to 10k as soon as possible. I want to do this full time. I want to bring you all the latest news. I want to talk Rangers 24/7. That's what I want to do, guys. You can help me get there. Obviously, smash the sub, smash the like. If that likes, please smash that like. It helps the video. Likes help videos, guys. So please smash the like. Well, thank you for watching. As always, it's been a pleasure speaking to you here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. Couldn't be here without you. Thank you for watching. Smash the like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember always, please never forget, we are the people.